Good evening, everyone. Welcome to 82nd Airborne Division versus Eastern Group. It's going to be a great match. Big spoilers there. Welcome, everyone. And welcome to the most scuffed stream you will ever see. But we're here, we're live, and we're going to be casting this amazing match. We're playing on Rue de la Gare, one of the most, definitely one of the favorite maps from teams in the 18v18 format. And if you're not sure what the 18v18 format is, it's basically playing over one grid square with 18 players on each side. This means infantry only. No tanks, no recon, no engineers, no satchels, and controversially, no abuse of height in this game mode. This means that teams are going to be facing each other and you're using their best FPS skills there are. Alright, let's get into Rue de la Gare. Big old strong point right in the middle here. Boom, beautiful. We've got Eastern Group, EG, as the Axis side, who has attacker's advantage. We've got 82 AD, 82nd Airborne Division, as allies, who are the defenders. They're going to be playing for 30 minutes. And the last one to hold the point, fully uncontested point, will win this first round. We're going to be watching a best of 3 matches. Each half an hour long, which means that we're gonna have some downtime in between matches, unfortunately, but we'll survive. I just got word that we're starting the match in around 2 minutes ish, so let's dive right into the game. Where is it? Here it is. Boom. Beautiful. Here we are, in game. And let me turn off all the HUD elements. Here we are, on Rue de la Gare. We've got the Axis, Eastern Group, with 2 garrisons placed really close to the border. One in the wheat field right here, and the other one closer to the other wheat field right there. We've got 82nd going for a bit close as well. 82nd building one of the garrisons here behind the bunker. And here in an open field. In an open field, you might say. Isn't that a bit crazy? In public games, you might say it's the normal garrison placement. But right here, it is not. As teams can't cross this border, or EG cannot cross this border, this is actually a pretty safe garrison. And we have liftoff in 40 seconds. We're starting at 1:05 in-game match time, which means we've got 35 seconds left. And there we have game sound as well. Beautiful. The question with these new garrisons is, are we gonna see rockets at the start? Which is right now. No rockets yet. Nothing. Here we see both teams running as fast as they can towards the point. 82nd committing 2 squads on the east side. Sorry, west side. And 1 on the east side. And EG is mirroring that with more players on the east side and just a handful of people on the west side. Really going for that first push on Rue de la Gare. Capital, great rocket. You just missed them. You hit a beautiful little bush right there. More rockets coming in. No kills just yet. But we can hear all the MGs, all the rockets going. And here we see 82nd and EG clashing in the strong point, with first casualties falling on both sides. And it looks like 82nd just got completely wiped on the strong point. But if we look at it, they do have OPs up relatively close. Although that easy outpost is within reach of grenades from EG. But does EG know that? We're not sure. Some familiar names I see from EG. General. I saw Capital, I think. A couple of familiar names for me. Because if you're not really aware of Hell Let Loose and all the teams and all the team drama, some of the old 82nd members are a part of EG. 82nd used to have a big Russian group of players. Most of them are now part of Eastern Group. So this was kind of an exciting match to see. But what we see is EG taking complete control of Rue de la Gare and its beautiful little strong point here in the middle. But Botjack, right here, solo. He's been spotted by Capital, but he... Caster's Curse. Botjack goes down. One of the OPs got completely wiped. Easy squad from 82nd. That means they have to reset from the garrisons. But with the new garrison changes in Winter Invitational, it means that they're back in action way quicker than they used to be. If you're looking at all these blue dots and red dots, just a quick reminder. Red is Eastern Group, blue is 82nd Airborne Division. And let's pan over to the west side a little bit. And what we see is 82nd having a squad leader really far back. Who is this guy? Terminator, all the way back behind enemy lines. Almost hugging the map play. Play area border. But his OP is still up all the way back there. Oh, he's making a move. This could be a humongous play from 82nd if they capitalize correctly. They could get a hold of the west side completely with this move. And we see a little bit of cap progress going on. 82nd coming back into the play area. Into the cap. In force. We saw it getting contested for a little bit. EG not willing to let this strong point go. And the first 5 minutes have been quite eventful. Not as exciting as I had hoped. But stuff is happening. Stuff is certainly happening. And still that outpost all the way over on the east side is still up and running. I wonder if EG will notice that OP. Or if they will let 82nd run wild on the east side. Because it's still quite a lot of open ground to cross right here. Over to the strong point. Which seems to be getting a bit more blue instead of red. And we see the point getting contested, uncontested, contested. And we saw cap grow. Oh, no, there it is. There it is again. Cap progress going in for 82nd. EG still heavy on the west side. Slightly in the strong point. Slightly in the strong point, meaning they have a higher cap weight. And I just saw a question about removing enemy garrisons with rockets. That is still an instant loss. Yes. And I know you're getting this answer 5 minutes later. But it's still an instant loss. We see EG trying to capitalize on the 82nd focus on the center. A little bit with this player right here. The Sad Demon. Trying to make a move all the way on the west side. He could be a real threat to all these two OPs here. And pretty much every player. But he's been shot down already. Oh no, he hasn't. He has not been shot down yet. He is shooting down Janiel right there. But God is getting around him now. Although Sad Demon has hurt him. He takes God down. He's taking pot shots at the guys in the wheat field. He's still there, just chilling. Let's pan back to the point. Look at these beautiful guys. All fighting over this point. The push that 82nd had has seemed to be neutralized a little bit by EG. EG taking more control of the strong point itself, crossing that road from the west, moving a little bit more east. Other way around. From the east, moving a little bit more west. Oh wait. Ah! Who cares? Who cares? EG firmly back into the point. But 82nd is getting through the cracks some places. And what I noticed is that the whole push on the east side has been completely neutralized, removed, and reset by EG. Meaning that George Squad has to be completely coming back from garrisons. that control that 82nd had there has been lost. And EG seem to be committing more people on the east side now, all the way over there. You see more people running there, 4 people, even a squad leader now, as opposed to previously where they had 3 guys and no squad leader, meaning no OP as well. That tells me that EG has realized that there is a threat on the far east side of Rue de la Gare, and that they do have to take a stance against 82nd right there. If we pan up a little bit, let's take a little bit of a closer look at this fight. We see a tug of war in this field a lot. We see EG pushing up into the point from this little alley or dirt road back into the point. 82nd coming back in from the field, getting control of the point. Look, they just took down a handful of guys, meaning that time is ripe to push. And they're doing so, but they're getting shut down as well. And EG having to push back from this road again, meaning that they have to cross the road right here. And 82nd has seemed to notice and realize that they do need an MG just spraying that road to stop them from crossing this cross section right here. Where we saw 82nd having control on the east side, it's now actually flipping towards EG, taking more of an offensive strategy on the east side, pushing with smokes across that field. And they die instantly as soon as I pan over. Trying to take the fight to the 82nd on the east side as well. But 82nd is putting up a big fight there, shutting down an entire squad, which is huge in the 18v18 format. And I just got word to increase name. It's this one, right? No! No! Hang on. There we go. Bit more. I never touch these settings, so I don't know what any of them do. There we go. My bad, guys. My bad. So let's talk about these teams for a little bit. EG, while completely new to the format technically, does have a lot of experience in the 18v18 format with a lot of their players. Players like Asteroid or Linoleus, General, where are more of them? I can't find them. Capital as well. They have such a massive amount of experience in the 18v18 format through playing with the 82nd, which makes this match incredibly interesting, as you have a lot of ex-82nd members fighting 82nd players. And I think that makes both teams want to perform really well, basically saying we can win without you guys to each other. But I also know there's a lot of love between the ex-members and the current members of the 82nd. Where we saw 82nd getting a bit more control of the main point. EG is basically saying, no, we're coming back. And they're really putting force on that center point, that strong point, that big black circle on the map. With General also taking a different approach now, possibly moving his OP to not have to cross this cross section of death, with Sir Lucky spamming the MG over this road. And we see the fight getting really close now, with the first 15 minutes having passed now. It looks like 82nd is getting really close to that strong point, with even having a handful of guys in there, but 98% of the entire strong point is still in hands, under control, firm control of Eastern Group. It's going to be a tough cookie to crack, but as we've seen from previous matches, it is possible to break through a stalemate. And 82nd seems hellbent on breaking that stalemate right now. They seem to be making a lot more aggressive moves, going for it. But we're yet to see a big payoff in that. Let's take a quick look at the outpost placement of 82nd. We see two OPs really close to each other right here. Meaning if one EG guy sneaks up through here, he could quite easily wipe two outposts. Which is really dangerous in this format. And unfortunately, I don't have someone else to help me figure out where these outposts from EG are. So I'm just gonna have to wait for people to spawn in, I guess. We see Sunny or Sony trying to, like, whoa, that was a sick flick from him. But we do see EG trying to push up across this line and trying to get crossfire in this wheat field, but simply getting crossfire in the wheat field is not always enough. You've gotta eventually take down those strong points, those outposts. And we see Sony moving towards that. I think he spotted it. I think he saw J-Neil and Gem spawn in. He must have seen where the OP is. But after 15 minutes, or 20 minutes almost, it isn't that hard to figure out where the outposts are. All the way on the east side, where we did see pushes being made, and the front line being more flexible, we've kind of seen it turn out to be a stalemate quite now. It is possible to push this field with smokes. It's also incredibly hard to do so against players who are skilled. And both these teams do have very skilled players. And with 10 minutes left on the clock, I do begin to wonder if it's necessary for 82nd to commit an entire squad on the east side, where they could possibly smash through the strong point right here with those extra 6 people. And we just saw a lovely nade there. Oh, that was good. That was good. I love me a good nade. And here are those big pushes from 82nd again. They're constantly trying to sneak in with a couple of people, and they managed to get behind. They managed to get into really solid positions. But EG keep on finding 82nd. They keep shutting them down, stopping their push, stopping just the entire offensive in their tracks. And this has been a great showing from Eastern Group, who, mind you, is a new team in this format. It's also been a great showing by 82nd. I didn't have a feeling where that there was a moment where they weren't in the fight. They've been constantly putting on the pressure, putting people forward, getting into good positions, but they haven't been able to hold on to those strong positions yet. And with around 8 minutes left on the clock, we really need to see big pushes, big plays, big kills, big nades, big everything to change the tide of this battle, because right now it does seem to be going EG's way. What I'd love to see from the 82nd right now is seeing that Eastern squad, Terminator squad, either making a huge move right now directly west, or see them converging on the middle, helping out the other two squads to push and break through the middle with sheer force. But it's incredibly hard to do that with EG being in strong positions both on the west side as well on the east side. Terminator has seemed to... Whoa. No OP there, but it's right there. It's right there. He should be able to see it. It's right here. And we see 82nd Terminator squad making a move right now on the east side. But Chubilas is going ham with the MG42, but he doesn't realize that they're right there. Chubby, turn to your right. Turn to... No. Where are you going? What? Okay. We see Lenodius and Capital getting a crossfire going on Dan and Colstead right here. Both making moves to clear out 82nd on the east side. And 15 minutes left. 15 seconds. Whoa, 15 seconds left. And I think we can say this match is going to EG. Sorry. 5 minutes left. My math is completely screwed up. 5 minutes left. So 80 seconds still has time to make it back into the point and either cap or get it contested so we go into overtime. And if Terminator Squad just moves up to the strong point, gives up on the east side, which it seems to me that they're kind of doing right now, I think we can push this match into overtime and possibly get a win out of it for the 82nd. But right now, with the Eastern group being very strong in this cross section right here, they have really strong positions. But as I'm saying that, 82nd seems to be making a little breakthrough right here with Oni and, well, rest in peace Major Mouse, clearing out the cross section right there and pushing through. And just with a crap ton of smoke, they are giving it their all. They are trying to make those important moves, those important plays, getting the players inside the strong point and getting a little bit of cap progress going, just to get the pressure going and possibly pushing this match into overtime or capping before the match ends. But at the same time, we also just see EG constantly shutting down every single push that the 82nd makes. Every single play gets countered pretty well by EG, if I say so. If I may say so. EG pulling the classic strat to completely abandon the far flanks in the last couple of minutes. But we just saw the map flip there for a second. Meaning that 82nd got a little bit of contested there. And I see more and more blue coming into the strong point. Finally getting some guys from the east side as well. But there's still 4 guys right here. It's the final 2 minutes. You can't run this whole distance in 2 minutes without dying or getting held up. They need to shift their focus on breaking through on the middle right there. But EG is just so strong with this little place inside the strong point. With 1 minute and 20 seconds left, we're seeing EG just flowing back into the strong point en masse, taking control of the strong point back that they lost. They realized they flipped it for a second. That 82nd managed to get it contested for just a split second. And EG realized we cannot let that happen again. This is the final minute. We need to keep it uncontested and finish this match. But we saw a flicker again, meaning that 82nd is getting the point contested. And we see more and more people, Terminator Squad, finally arriving in the Rue de la Gare strong point, putting pressure on. With 30 seconds left on the clock, we see more and more blue and more red, and it's just clashing everywhere, and it's a great fight right now. 15 seconds left on the clock. Can 82nd manage to contest it and possibly cap it in overtime? Will it be done? I believe the game just got called. By the referee. meaning no overtime. We just saw it flicker 1 second past the game time. 1 second past the game time, it flickered. If only it happened a split second earlier, we would have been in overtime right now. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. What a great match. And I just realized we're playing on server 3 from the 82nd right now. And let me check for you guys if I can whip up some Archon action. If I can do it, how cool would that be? Archon access! Woo! We've got some Archon access right here. Top killers from this match. Oni from 82nd. Die for Metal from EG. The Sad Demon from Eastern Group. Lunodius from Eastern Group. Kolstad on number 6. Kolstad? On number 6? My mind is baffled right now. I'm gonna check. They are flipping the map right now to set it up again for Rudelagar match 2, where Eastern Group will play allies and 82nd will play Axis with attacker's advantage. And if they manage to go into a third match, 82nd has an ace up their sleeve. They won the coin toss for the third match, meaning they get to choose sides for match 3 if we get there. And quickly looking at these stats. Just EG dominated in the top killers. But look, let's look at the most important stat. Death streak. 10. 10 deaths in a row. Dear Lord. And 82nd. Oh, poor. Oh no. Oh no. Aye. 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 That's not bad. Not great. Not great. Alright. What did we see in this first match? First match. What did we see? We saw EG putting up a really strong performance. Let me quickly, while they're still flipping the map. 18 seconds. While they're flipping the map over to Rudelagar again. This is gonna take some time, trust me. Let's talk match 1 for a second. We saw EG taking the point after a couple of minutes into the match. We saw 82nd resetting quite well after the capture flipped, and we got Rudelagar. Beautiful. I'm quickly gonna switch teams. You know what? I'm gonna stay as allies. Let me quickly mute these guys. Just so that I don't have the Russians yelling at me. I'm terrified. Alright. Rudelagar. We saw EG take control really well. But after the point flipped, we saw 82nd getting back in quite well. Managing to put up a really good fight. Contesting it even getting capture progress going numerous times in this first match. Arguably coming from the allied side on Rudelagar, which is quite a hard side to attack from. I just realized that. Oh no, it's not. Hang on, my brain just completely got... Okay. I lost my train of thought. We saw 82nd come back, getting it contested just a couple of times, but really not being good enough to get Rudelagar out of the strong Russian grip that EG had on it. I gotta admit, Rudelagar allies is really hard to play. You've got basically this open field right here. Yes, you can run along the bushes, but put an MG right here and they go ba 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 ba. You're dead. They got this wheat field right here, which is... Even no. We've got this wheat field right here, which basically just acts like a funnel, pushing players through one line or just one area, being allowed to be quite easily flanked from this position right here, unless 82nd of course has either a MG or skilled shooter just here going daka 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 daka. In short, just really hard to attack the point head on. But let me fix that. But we did see 82nd make numerous plays on the far east side, right here. We saw Terminator quite early in the match, managing to get all the way here. Put his OP up. And if we look at the map, it's right next to the safe zone from the Axis side. So 82nd really creeped up to the borders and managed to get around EG, but the proper capitalization of this move never happened. They couldn't capitalize on this humongous flank, this big strong play that they made. They couldn't utilize on it. EG just really just coming back in, realizing our east side is weak. The east of Eastern Group is really weak. Reinforce it. They came back with more guys that they committed there earlier at the start, including a squad leader, which means an OP. And took control back, even trying to put the offensive onto 82nd, pushing across the field right here. Didn't really work, but they tried. They tried. All right. And just quickly in between, I completely messed up the nameplates. I never touched that setting, so I didn't know which one to touch, but we fixed it. We made it. We survived. Alright, back to discussing match 1 as they're setting up for match 2. At the end, it got really exciting as 82nd just realized, okay, we need to go ham, we need to push, we need to go cray, we need to go just wild. And they got in. Slightly too late, like split second too late. I saw it flip as soon as the game got called by the referee, which is a big bummer for 82nd. they could have made it at least contested, go into overtime. Unfortunately, the stars just didn't align, and they couldn't break through that second earlier. Nonetheless, it was just a fantastic match, showing really what the 18v18 format was about. Great FPS skills. I lost my train of thought. Great FPS skills. Squad combat. Infantry only. Go at each other. Go ham. Go crazy. Get kills. Get killed. And hold the point. And EG was just better at getting kills. Not getting killed. And holding on to the point eventually. But now we're flipping the sides with 82nd taking the Axis side, taking the Guerre, taking the MG42, taking the STG, and taking this fight over to EG as allies. And let's take a look at the garrison placement. Because I believe... I don't know what's happening here. There's not a garrison, but I think EG is going to pretty much place it on the same side. EG garrison placement similar to 82nd on the east side as well. And just like I said for match 1, it seems like they're putting a garrison in an open field, which is really a public game meta. But it's quite protected, and because well, it's a risk they're taking by putting it closer. Eventually, if it comes to a scenario where they can box out, they can just line up here and pick them off the garrison. So it's a risk that EG is taking with this garrison. But closer garrisons also mean that you don't have to run as far at the start. And the start is really important in the 18v18 format. It's not the end-all, be-all, deciding factor, your initial push. Not at all. But it is quite important, especially on these non-neutral strong points, as we like to call them, where you have attackers and defenders. Because if attackers win the initial push, that means that they actually flip Rue de la Gare, meaning that all the outposts placed by EG get destroyed. And that's just I cannot say or underestimate how important those OPs are. Those are your closest, your quickest, your most important spawn points, really. If a squad gets reset, that means all 6 guys have to come back from the garrison if they die, if they get wiped. That used to be a bigger time sink when garrisons were 150 meters away. Now they're a minimum of 55 meters away. It's a little bit less bad, but still it's really bad, especially if you get reset in this area and you have to come back from this garrison and 82nd is lined up here, for example. You're in an awful situation. Just bad to come back from. So that's why those outposts are so essential. They really dictate where your troops will flow from and where your battle will go to. And I am getting some feedback to zoom in on some fights in between. I will try my best to do that. This is my first casting stream. I don't use admin cam a lot, so I'm doing my best. I'll try and keep that in mind as we go into match 2. Meanwhile, let's take a quick moment as I'm checking if we have a match start yet. Let's take this moment. We've been sitting for possibly 40-ish minutes now already. Maybe even longer. So just take a minute to stand up, stretch your legs, move around a bit, get those veins open again, get your blood flowing. As we're starting in 3 minutes. So if the real Shim Shady would please stand up. I'm sorry. That was bad. Just awful. We're starting at 1:15 in-game start. Meaning we've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Or 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Till we're starting match 2. And I cannot match 2 is going to be the deciding factor if we go into match 3 or not. As this is a best of 3 series where one team needs to win 2 matches. And EG is 1-0 right now. If 82nd manages to go 1-1, we're going into match 3. And that match is going to be favored towards 82nd because they won the second coin flip, meaning that they have all the power to choose the sides they're gonna play. I am willing to put my money on Axis attacking because it's just so strong on Rudolagar. But who knows? Maybe they're crazy and they'll play allies attacking. We don't know. With 1 minute and 30 seconds left till match 2 starts. Let's take a minute to calm down from that first match. Because my god, that was quite a big one. And let's make Hella Loose big and pretty again. Boom. There we go. Big and pretty. Let's look at 82nd garrison placement real quick. It seems to be the same as EG. With 1 garrison in dispute field on the east side. And the second pretty much in the same spot as EG. 20 seconds till blast off. I think. I've been told. Let's go Sumi. Truck just blew up there. That could be an issue, as that's... that could be an issue, that truck being there. Let's not go into that. We've got a match to watch. We see EG this time taking more control on the west side. Sorry, on the east side. Sending a full squad instead of half a squad without a squad leader. And we see them just putting the rest on go crazy, go run, go, with Max shooting down the main road. 82nd, we kind of see what they've done in match 1, committing 1 full squad on the east side with with one extra player and 2 squads on the middle and west. And it seems like EG is going to go cap. We see EG holding the cap with technically a defender's disadvantage. But 82nd is in a position to get a good foot stuck back in the door, try and weasel their way back into the point. But EG is also putting on their running shoes and going crazy, going fast, just taking the fight right to 82nd's face, taking complete control of the strong point on the south, except for Tiff Rocks right there. We see just 2 82nd players stuck in a blue wave. And let's take a look at OPs real quick. OPs relatively safely placed, spread out. They could be more aggressive with it, although I completely understand that they wouldn't take complete control, take them completely forward, as that would be a huge risk. But we see 82nd just almost being completely wiped from the play area. Only really being active on the east side. And let's take a look at this. You might think that the allies had attacker's advantage right here by looking at how reset 82nd is. But it's the other way around. 82nd just being completely reset, having to come back from those garrisons, from those 2 garrisons. Not being able to really get back into the fight as they did in match 1. We're certainly seeing a very strong, arguably stronger opening from EG in match 2. They've warmed up, they've gotten used to how 82nd plays, and they're willing to take more risks, it seems, going more forward, safe risks. They're only sending a couple of guys forward, with other guys like the Sad Demon, Katniss, holding the line, just popping off guys, which is really easy to do on this side of the map. Look at this. You got great angles on all those red dots right there. You might not be able to see them, but if you've got great guys, great communicators, great pingers, you can quite easily ping crate rigs. I just completely butchered that name, but you can ping them and they just have to shoot them, do pop shots. And we really do see EG taking a really strong approach, a really forward approach on the strong point right here. Something that they tried to do in match 1, but 82nd got closer then. We see 82nd trying to make a move right here, with Major Mouse battling off the Rifleman and Kuguks. And Botjack coming in and Terminator coming in. We do see them reacting to how strong EG is right now, trying to divert their attention to where they could possibly break through, away from where they probably won't be able to break through. if we pan over to the east side a little bit, we see the same stalemate we saw after EG reacted to 80 seconds wide flank in match 1. And they're not really willing to give away more meters, more possession of ground that they can. They're just holding the line, which is a valid tactic. But you're opening yourself up to smoke pushes, to people weaseling their way in through wheat fields. But the 82nd is getting closer to the point. We see God Squad making a godly move into the storm point, getting closer, getting a couple of guys into this really juicy spot where they are in the storm point. But we also we just really see EG holding the line right here, just kind of waiting. It's basically telling 82nd, come at me, try me, do something. And we see 82nd listening to them. They are doing something. They are coming at them, taking the fight into the middle. We see cap progress going for 82nd right now. And 82nd is really truly back in this game. And just as a quick reminder, if 82nd manages to win this game, we've got one more match going. It's a best of 3. And in the third match, 82nd has won the coin flip, so they can choose what side they're gonna play. I'm just gonna go and say they're gonna play Axis. Come on, guys, they're gonna play Axis. Come on. And we see that cap progress inching more and more to the left, looking more red and red every single second. EG forcing many of its players to go to the strong point, get back into the cap. And they are defending right now. We'll see if they manage to do it entirely. Regain control of the cap. They gotta reset this outpost, which is instrumental to 82nd's success right now. But EG is just managing to... They've got more control of the strong point to begin with. And they can just get it back. 82nd is willing to give that control they win back to EG. And it's the EG spread is really good. They go in, reset the cap, get it back. We're looking more blue. And then they just spread out again. Go for that control. Try and go for those angles where you have crossfire. And where you can't shoot rockets at a player and make him blow up into 2 pieces. And as EG believes they have control of this point again, they believe they're in a good position again. You see them thinning out again. And that allows 82nd to get back in. But it's just not enough to get capture progress going again. And as we pan to the east side... Whoa! For a minute I was like, where are all the blue guys? EG seems to have abandoned the east side completely. They're also down a outpost. No, they're not. Okay, let's see if the 82nd does realize that the east side is quite open for them to push. And let's see if they can capitalize on it. Just like they did on match 1. We see Derp just running across the open, getting into a position as an MG. He died. From this position, you do have kind of good angles on the field right there. But we see cap progress going again for 82nd. They're getting deeper this time. Although the guys just got neutralized. We see Major Mouse going into... Oh, shooting down 2 guys. Missing Chubby Lass. And Major Mouse gets shut down. But Chubby goes down as well. We see 82nd being more forward, more towards the EG side. They're making moves. They're taking the fight to them. And they're also getting more control here on the east side. Sorry, on the west side. With Gem, Rambo, name I can't pronounce. Just going ham. Taking the fight to EG. Realizing this is it. They have to make a move. They need to capture this match to go into the third match. And possibly win this series of matches. And go on to the... I want to say finals, but... to win the semifinals. We see EG forming a nice line, but it's they're not in a real position to come back into the point, or realistically come back into this west side that's really important to hold as well. And we might see the cap go to 82nd. '82nd does take control of the strong point, meaning that all the OPs from EG are reset, but they're all up again. However, they're so close together, one guy could take them out. EG is truly in a critical situation right here. 3 OPs, really close. One is lighting up. Some are in nade distance. One OP goes down. Amazing nade by the 82nd. Amazing nade. But they still have 2 OPs down. And the squad leader that lost its OP is reset. But we're seeing capture progress. Or at least contention of the strong point again. 82nd not really capitalizing well enough on winning this strong point. EG pushing back in, making their way back in, and taking the fight to 82nd. And let's see where that other squad leader goes. Interesting choice. We see the able squad leader going on the east side now, while he has his OP up relatively close to the point. Baker, Kugu, getting ready to, I guess, replace his OP. Let's take a look. He's got his watch out. He's checking the time. Or he's trying to bandage. I think he's checking the time. Getting that OP up. And we're halfway there. 15 minutes passed. And 15 minutes left. 82nd breaking through on the east side. Realizing that they have the opportunity to push further towards EG. Getting a squad there. But it just feels like they're not in control of enough of this whole center area. With EG committing just so many guys, their 82nd is really at risk of being overrun. But if they manage to get this crossfire from Rob and Swellboy and Terminator over to their west flank, get them caught between the guys on the strong point and the east side, it could be really hard for EG to push through. '82nd does realize that they need control of the wheat field, either by being there or having vision, being able to kill them, or by taking out those OPs. So we see God definitely taking a move, killing people. That's definitely not in the 10 commandments. Just trying to hold on, hold EG back, kill the guys that come in, and try and push forward, inch forward, try and neutralize those strong points, because those outposts, because they are so important. They are the most close spawns. And if we look at the west side, where at the beginning of this match, EG was so dominant. They had control, they had vision, they had people in these snipey positions to shut down any player that comes in. We just now see all red. 82nd taking full control of that western side, which is really important to neutralize any push coming along this hedge line right here. And it allows Clicker, Machine Gunner Clicker, to just spray here. He doesn't seem to be doing that, but it allows him to. He doesn't seem to be doing that. I want to yell at him and say, Clicker, go right here and just suppress the fuck out of these guys right here. Shoot. Unfortunately, I can't. But just where we saw a few minutes ago, we still saw this thick blue group of people. It has thinned out, allowing 82nd to hold on, recapture their breath for a second after that dramatic capture of Rue de la Gare, allowing to kind of get a hold of themselves again, and get back into the fight, and really get that, you know, more offensive, more pushing towards EG going. And east side, it's just completely dominated. I just feel like there's a little bit too many people still here to camp the garrison with an MG. I believe they can move more, even more forward here, or alternatively get into this trench here, get crossfire here. I don't see 82nd really capitalizing on the opportunities they're given by EG. EG certainly is leaving up some gaps for 82nd to capitalize on. We see Kugu trying to fill that gap. We see him going over to the east, because I assume he's realized that garrison is just completely screwed to push from. And we see, who's this guy? We see Tifrox. Oh my god, that took me really long to read. We see Tifrox just holding down this angle, which is a pretty good angle to hold. Unlucky, remember. But now we see, oh, okay. Caster's Curse. We saw him trying to push in. 82nd does realize they need to clear out that wheat field if they want to stop EG from just putting up so many pressure, because EG is putting up a lot of pressure here. They are throwing nades, shooting rockets, making everything go boom, suppressing. They are putting up a really strong fight. And EG definitely is not out of this game yet. EG still has EG still has a lot of ways to get back in and win the cap. But we see 82nd now realizing they have free reign on the east side. They can push up. They can get crossfire going. They can just pick them up from distance. Still, in my opinion, a little bit too many guys hanging here instead of down there. But we do finally see 82nd realizing, okay, we have a gap right here. We can utilize it. We can get behind them. And we see Terminator making that push behind EG and getting into this funnel of death called a wheat field. But Terminator gets shut down by General. EG must realize that their entire eastern flank is looking hella weak now. And I wonder what EG realistically can do about it. This garrison is just screwed. Just completely screwed. And they can't really get past here and go there. All I can see is 82nd just making their way on the eastern side, getting crossfire in here. But they do have to land those shots. They do have to get those kills. They do have to send those people forward to get behind them. Try and take down those dirty OPs that are in the wheat field right here. And where EG looked really strong in the beginning of match 2, they just seem to get thinned out and picked off by 82nd. 82nd does seem to have found their groove now. Being able to get into position, take the battle forward like Gem is doing right here. Like Terminator was doing right there. We do see that happening. And it seems like 82nd has found their groove. And it is being able to really take this fight towards the eastern group, where this battle was where EG versus 82nd in match 1 was looking more fairly sided. I'm willing to say that it's looking more 82nd sided in this match, with EG not being able to contest Rue de Gar as much as 82nd has done in match 1. And we see Terminator making that move I was talking about. A little bit too direct to my taste, but he is making those moves. And we see Bot just going down. But we finally see Kolstad, Dan, Rob all moving up, trying to put pressure up on EG from the east side. And let's quickly take a look at OPs. Oh, that okay, Eastern group. What happened? This is not looking really good. Not really good. Not really looking good. 82nd managing to take down one of the OPs and killing the squad leader, meaning that the squad leader is reset, having to come back from the garrison. But we're so at the end of the map border that, you know, the garrison is just so close anyway. But we do see EG committing more to the east side. Does there notice that he should get his MG firing on those guys there? Do we... What are you doing, Derp? Come on. It does... Mounting and hell at loose, everyone. Mounting and hell at loose. Now he's mounting. Now he's mounted. He is taking shots at all those blue dots. He is getting the kills. He is getting the suppression in. And we just see EG pushed back towards their safe zone. Really, really well done by 82nd right here. A much better display of taking advantage of opportunities, pushing when necessary, and pushing through together in match 2 right here. And 82nd is looking stronger than they looked in match 1, where EG performed similar by the looks of it to how they performed in match 1. Really interesting to see. With 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, anything can happen. Anything can happen. But we all gotta admit and be honest with each other right here. It is damn hard for EG to come back from this. They can do it. I believe they can. And we see a rule infraction right here by Moisato. You're not allowed to get on the glider wings, as it just gives you too much of an unfair advantage in this game mode. But I suspect the referees are on him, ready to... Yep, there he went. Boom. Off the map. But we do see 82nd really getting warmed up, strong, and just performing better than they did in match 1. And looking at the stats, I'll pop them up on the screen after the match. 82nd surely is looking a lot stronger. The funnel of death right here is just in complete control of 82nd. No blue dots in the funnel of death anymore. And it just seems with 50 seconds left on the clock, I don't see a way where EG can come back, can capture progress going. I don't think they can run that far in 40 seconds and kill all these guys. I don't see it happening. And I've got to say, it's just great performance by 82nd in this match. EG, very strong start. Really, really strong start. But 82nd, after they managed to get a hold of themselves, get back in, slowly chip away at EG, get back in to the point, capture it, utilizing the opportunity they were given by all their OPs being reset and close together in the funnel of death. They just managed to get back in. And I believe this is game. 1:15 start. Yep, this is game. Wow. Great performance. Great performance. And we see the map change coming in. They're going to reset for match 3. Also on Rue de la Gare. And I suspect that 82nd did choose to play Axis again. And let's take a moment to look at the stats. Let me whip it up. Let me whip it up. Where are you? There we are. Stats. Let's look at stats. Top killers this round. Let's see if I can whip up. Yeah. Can I open in a new tab? Apparently I can. Okay, just a quick recap. Results from match 1. We saw EG dominating the top 10. With only 3 players from 82nd contesting in the top 10 killers. Now let's take a look at match 2. No! Let's take a look at match 2. Wait a second. This doesn't seem right. It might be right. I'm confused. Okay. This might be right. If we look at top 10 kills again, lot more 82nd in here. Lot more 82nd. Let me check if it's in here already. No, not yet. Okay. We see just a couple more entrants from 82nd. We saw Oni, who performed very strong in match 1 as well. We see Derb. We see Major Mouse making an appearance. Kolstedt dropping off the top 10 completely. What a noob. Love you, Kolstedt. But surprisingly, still quite EG dominated. And it looks like the map has flipped correctly to Rudelagar again, so they can start setting that up. I suspect match 3 will be going on in around 15 minutes. 15 minutes. And after these 2 exciting matches, we've got to take a quick break. Just a quick break. So while I set that up, get my pause screen up. We'll be right back. Quick break to stretch, get something to drink, get something to eat, and let's get ready for match 3 in around 15 minutes. I'll be back in 5 at 10 minutes. And I can't wait for this 3rd match. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Alright, welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, what a match. What a match. Matches, should I say. Excellent 2 matches by AG and 82nd on Rudy Lagar, non-neutral strong point in the 18v18 format. Amazing 2 matches. What can we expect to see from match 3? Well, we can see 82nd being the red bubbles again. 82nd won the second coin flip, meaning they get to choose sides for match 3. And here we are, match 3. Obviously, they chose Axis. Come on, it's Rudo Lagar. You play Axis, or you go through the funnel of death. And someone told me that I can just boom, screw command chat. Thank you for that suggestion. I completely forgot. Where was I? Let's talk about this funnel of death right here for allies. It's just hard to push out of. We saw 82nd in round 1 really holding the funnel of death pretty well, even managing to push into the point, capturing it, or getting capture progress going, being able to contest it, never really being out of the fight. In match 2, where the sides were flipped, so 82nd on Axis and Eastern Group on Allies, we didn't really see that happen again from EG. We saw EG having a really strong start right through the funnel of death, and a couple of guys on the east pushing through, capturing the point, or well, defending the point, so to say, getting in, holding it, neutralizing 82nd almost completely. They had so much control, or they killed so many guys from 82nd, holding control here. They held this. They were well up here. They just didn't capitalize on it that well. I'm gonna be honest. They didn't take the chance to push out. They didn't take the chance to push up. They kind of set the stage for 82nd to completely come back, capture the point, just go ham. Almost boxed him out. Really strong performance by 82nd. Stronger performance by 82nd in match 2 compared to match 1. And EG just wasn't able to make the same improvements as 82nd did compared to match 1. Where 82nd seemed to be getting into the rhythm, being warmed up, EG kind of seemed to be stuck in the way they played in match 1. Not really utilizing the opportunities they were giving, or even realizing that there were opportunities for them to push. I'm quickly gonna ask what the match start is. I think it's gonna be 1:15 by the looks of it. So what would I like to see going into match 3 on Ruler Lagar between Eastern Group as allies again and 82nd as Axis? Well, what I'd like to see is those very strong starts again, but also realizing when there are opportunities to abuse, to take advantage of, pushing through when gaps exist. For both teams, it took time to realize those gaps and utilize them. But 82nd just was slightly... They got into the groove a bit better. They started seeing those gaps a bit more, pushing through on the east side, getting complete control of this whole area, managing to get side shots into the funnel of death, managing to get around, just holding east side really well, getting control of the west side, which is arguably more important. And just taking the fight back to Eastern Group, holding against their pushes, taking the chance to push back, to get more ground, to basically push out EG, and they did it really well. So from both teams, I want to see, more taking advantage of opportunities, of gaps. I want to see those strong openings again. They were great. Really strong openings from both teams. Placement great. Each 82nd just lost gunfights, I guess. They lost their first wave almost immediately. But they got back, and that's what matters. It doesn't matter how great or fantastic your start is. What matters is that you hold the point at the end of the 30 minutes. We've had 2 30-minute matches already. An hour of playtime. Tens of minutes of downtime in between. Sorry about that, guys. I can't really do much about it. It's been a long night for both teams. Looking at how long the stream has been. I've been streaming for an hour and 45 minutes. Almost. Including a bit of... including a tiny bit of, intro, but who cares? An hour of those were actual playtimes. But now going into match 2, I suspect we're starting at 1:15. I guess. I didn't get a confirmation, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we're starting at 1:15. And just quickly checking. Same openings really from both teams. 2 squads of 82nd on the west side. 1 on the east side. 1 squad from EG on the east side. I guess not at 1:15 start. Guessing 1:10. Okay. Got a couple of minutes more. EG really learning from match 1, where they gave 82nd so much control at the start. I got a couple messages. Maybe it's match time. Sorry. We see EG committing 1 squad to the east side, where in match 1, where they played as Axis, they didn't do that. They committed a handful of guys. But 82nd just got so much control on the east side in match 1 that EG had to realize, okay, we cannot let that happen again. So they're committing a squad on the east side now. 2 squads on the west side and Funnel of Death, of course. Your usual stand-up, your usual squad setup. Let's take a moment to breathe before we go into, I'm just gonna guess, a crazy match 3. Take a quick time to stand up, stretch those legs, move your arms a little bit, rest your eyes. Make sure you're taking care of yourself physically and mentally. word on the street is that they can't make up the time. I see my best friend, one of my favorite admins, Pavel, is coming in to help 82nd and EG come to terms on match time. I'm gonna keep you guys updated. I'm quickly gonna send a message, see what's going on. I assume we're not gonna be starting at 110. I don't know how long we've got. I'm gonna figure it out. 2 seconds. Seems that we might have... Sweet! 110 match start. Okay. Got nothing. We're starting at 110. Just quickly coming back. We've got one squad of both... Oh. Yeah, one squad of EG and 82nd on the eastern side. 2 squads of 82nd and 2 squads of EG on the west side. And funnel of death. We've got match start. Both teams running, going, putting their running boots on. And taking their dancing shoes off. We saw rockets. They missed. But we saw rockets. What? We see EG pushing in a straight line here. Nice spread out line. Shooting rockets across. Missing though. Not even in the play area. But we see those rockets being fired, which is always cool to see. EG making their way into the strong point again. Really strong. Great first push from EG. But 82nd is coming around. They are coming. That sounded so wrong. But they are making their way over to where EG is. And they're getting close. They're getting close. Gem and Sony just killing each other. EG again showing a really strong start right here with them taking up positions in a strong point and on the west side. But as opposed to match 2, we see 82nd not wiped out, taking a strong stance, getting in, getting those OPs up in this beautiful spot right here, which is in the strong point. This spot is in the... Great nade. Great nade. It was a smoke. How did I not recognize that? So, my bad. We do see EG in the strong point. But 82nd is still putting up a fight, contesting it. The west, however, is looking pretty slim for both teams, actually, which is interesting to see. Both teams sending more players. Arguably, 82nd is in a better position on the west side. They're not in the best position yet on the strong point, but I do think they're gonna be able to make their way. On the east side, far east, of course, we see that small little stalemate happen. All quiet on the eastern front. And let's take a quick look at how this battle unfolds. 82nd still in the fight, unlike match 2 where they were wiped out by now. Putting up a really strong fight. They are using this house right here in the strong point really well. Somebody just got rocketed, but that's okay. And we have a Car 98K player. Wave. Why? Car 98K on support? That's a weird loadout to choose. Okay. Fight over the strong point. Still not over. It could go either way, really. What's more important is looking at the west right here. We see both 82nd and Eastern Group trying to make the best they can. Put in all their effort in controlling the western area. If you hold west, you have an advantage. You have a really strong advantage. EG does realize that they are going strong on the west side, but not strong enough to break through 82nd right here. They did kill Gem. So now it's just Ramba and Janil holding it. But the point is still not really under control by any party. It's still not fully defended or fully captured. And we do still see capture progress going towards EG. However, EG does have defenders disadvantage, where if 82nd manages to capture Rue de la Gare, their outposts get reset. And what we saw in match 2 was that was game changing. They when that happened, they were unable to really reset themselves properly. Risky outpost there by EG. Let's see if it pays off. Surely it will get spotted by Gem or Ramba if they peek correctly. And capture progress is going back towards 82nd. We see Sir Lucky right there with the MG. Not sure if that's the strongest position for the MG42. But he was in the capture zone. And that's really what matters right now, is getting either for EG to get full control back off a Rue de la Gare, or 82nd to capture it, reset their OPs, and push through. And I just realized I made a small oopsie. There. Back on full screen. Whoops. Technical mistake. Only 7 minutes missed. No worries. Back on the full screen. We see capture progress going more towards 82nd. And EG is realizing it. They are putting more people on the strong point. Or at least on the western side of the map. Trying to get control of Rue de la Gare, because they do realize that losing the point could potentially be catastrophic for them. And the fight for the West is really starting with Dart for Metal taking out a couple of guys, being taken out himself, but it does allow his friends to move up. Orbit being in my opinion, not the best position, but he's in a position. The Sad Demon and Ramba, all you see is trees right now, sorry. You do see that they do realize that the West is important to hold. EG is getting it contested again. They are fighting over the central road. But 82nd is really strong in the cap still. And let's take a look at outposts. Really close to the point, but EG doesn't seem to be really making their way back in. And their capture is flipped towards 82nd. Let's see. Outposts, do they come back up? We see Abel, squad leader, in just a peculiar position right now. Where he can't really get this OP down because it will just get instantly removed. However, we do see Baker and Charlie replacing their OPs. Though the capture cap is just really slim for EG right now. 82nd must realize that they flipped and that they have the opportunity to push through right now. Orbit, in a position that I called weird, is being a major force in stopping the 82nd, but only shuts them down. And 82nd has full control of the West, which allows them to get so much more dominant fire over the funnel of death right here, and the further west side right here. EG is getting back in the strong point. Small numbers, but they are getting back in. And EG for sure not out of the fight yet. They're using their smokes. They're using line of sight between Moisato and Cafe to shut down this really important house right here. And generally speaking, it just looks more blue than it did in match 2. This point is still very much up for grabs. And Wave and Cafe, what's happening here? Wave, look, shoot him. Good. Still playing with the car. Still playing with the carabiner. Very weird, but okay. And we see EG slowly thinning out again, just like what happened in match 2. They're getting thin. They're getting shut down. They have all their OPs still up in relatively good positions, but like I said earlier, this is just too close. It's too close. They are playing really risky. EG does realize that this match is all or nothing. Of course, it's not the end for either team if they lose this. But it's a really, really important match. We see more blue guys coming in. Let's see if Wave can take them all out with the car. Wave just being walked over. Keeps crawling. Just keeps crawling. Gets next to someone else. Gets shot. Okay, as you do. Let's look at Gem. Gem is just made his way around. Is in a strong position. to get line of sight on the garrison, which is right there, but also get line of sight into the funnel of death from behind them. We see Gem making that push, hoping he realizes that this is the play area border. Gem, if you're a madman, you push for the arrow piece in this position. But he's going to shoot. He's going to shoot. Interesting choice. Shooting and moving. Shooting and moving. Let's take a quick look at the east. Quick look at the east. We see a thin 82nd on the east compared to pretty strong EG. What we saw in match 2 was EG losing complete control of the east side and just not being able to utilize that garrison right there. Just being killed on it as soon as they spawned in. And that's with the new garrison changes we made in the Winter Invitational. You can place it at a minimum of 55 meters, but you can place it further away. So you're able to choose if you want to take a risk and place it in the open, like EG has. Get it really close and get in quicker. But also risk, you know, being spawn camped. Or you could place it farther away, a bit safer, more strategic perhaps. It's interesting to see teams play with this, but also not really play with it, because turned out that the meta is quite place it as close as possible, and not as safe as possible. But it's been really interesting to see what teams do. EG trying to push across the hatch line here. Trying to make their way down to the west. The west is just phenomenal position on this map. Just so dominant and important. And if we take this moment where... Quick look at OPs. We've got Charlie, Abel, but no Baker OP. Baker OP goes up on the glider. Certainly a spot to place it. Not the safest one, but you can spawn on it. And we still see EG also spawning in a funnel of death, trying to make their way over to the strong point. Not really pushing as Orbit is going closer, but they're not pushing as hard as they've shown to push previously in match 1 and 2. 82nd just kind of holding the east. Not really, well, not really going all out on a push. They are putting smokes down to push, but nothing further is really happening. And let's zoom back in on the action right here. We started at 110, so we're coming up on 17 minutes played. We're past half cap. Half time, sorry. We see EG making cap progress right now. We see EG getting into the strong point, getting cap progress going, making 82nd sweat. And they're getting in, but 82nd is reacting. A strong spawn in the little building here. But it's not enough yet. EG is making a way closer to where 82nd is spawning. They are pushing through. But we see Tifrox right here. In a position. Oh, nah. Caster Curse. Um, we see EG just getting closer and closer. Those two outposts are doing a great job. West is flailing a little bit, but 80 seconds still has just massive control there. 80 second isn't out of the match yet, but EG isn't in control either. Both teams still have opportunities to either win this cap or lose this cap. And EG seems to realize that they need to go ham, go crazy, and go in. And that's what they're doing on the West right now. The West is integral to winning Rue de la Gare. EG notices. EG knows that, definitely. But 82nd knows that as well. With Gem, Crater, Rifleman Guy, J-Neil, Remember, all here to try and stop that EG push coming in. And we see the cap being completely controlled by 82nd again. But they're not out of the woods yet. Still a strong force of EG in or around the capture zone. And we just see 82nd vaporizing the EG presence, while still committing a fairly large amount of players on the east side. Looking at OPs again, they're in the same place. There is an enemy outpost mark though. Is it very good? Nothing there. I wish I could see where the outpost was. Is it here? No. I don't know. Back to the fight. EG hasn't given up on this push yet. And Gem, there's a squad leader behind you. Kugu doesn't see Gem. And Gem doesn't see him either. This could be very bad if Kugu puts up an OP right there. I don't think he's doing it. Is he doing it? No, he's not doing it. Only going in. Gets shut down by Kugu. Kugu trying to... never mind. EG still committing to this push through the funnel of death. Trying to make it the funnel of winning. I'm sorry. And they are getting capture progress again. Definitely a stronger performance from EG in this third match compared to the second match. And we're coming up on 7 minutes and 40 seconds-ish left. And this game really could go either way still. What we've seen so far is very strong control from 82nd, but they're losing their grip a tiny bit. EG is making their way into the point, making their way downtown into the point, getting it contested, getting capture progress even, and making this match truly exciting. Mind you, these two teams, 82nd and EG, have been in this series of games for almost 2 hours and 5 minutes now. An hour of those, an hour of that was the first 2 matches, and we're coming up on 23.5 minutes off the 3rd match. And this 3rd match is essential for both teams. They're 1-1 right now, and they need to be 1-2 or 2-1 to win this and move down the bracket. (82nd) and EG really trying to fight for that spot in the winners final, where they will face either DC or VLK. Also playing a match right now at this time, or playing a game right now at this time. Will we see 82nd versus DC or VLK, or will we see Eastern Group versus DC or VLK? I really can't tell. We're going into the last 5.5 minutes, and we're just seeing a weird kind of thing going on where everyone is mixed, blue and red, all mixed together. This really could go either way. And if we pan over to the east a little bit, there's still coming large amount of people to the east side that they might be better off spending on the middle and the west side. I trust both teams to make the best tactical decision, but what matters right now is getting capture progress, either flipping the cap or going into overtime by having it contested or cap progress in the last few minutes. It's all about holding the point at the fully controlling the strong point in the last few minutes. And I can't really tell yet which team that's going to be. We see really strong performance from 82nd, but we also see great pushes by EG coming in, getting capture progress going, constantly trying their way in. It's a great show of endurance by both Eastern Group and 82nd that they've been able to play for so long, and still be able to put up these great fights. Sir Lucky shutting down the main road. Really important to shut down this main road. And let's take a little bit of an overview here. South you can see 82nd as Axis. North you can see Eastern Group playing the allies. The point of course being Rue de la Gare. Going into the last 3 minutes, we really see EG trying to make their way into the strong point, really putting their all in going for capture progress, which they're making right now. You see the red bar going more blue. This is essential for winning the match or making it go into overtime and potentially winning there. We see a really strong push from EG, and the point is looking really freaking blue right now compared to 82nd red. But 82nd is making it contested. We see Morisato going for the OP right here. He gets shut down. We see 82nd from the west making the way over to the funnel of death. Gem all the way over there, trying to make their way behind them, possibly resetting their OPs, which would mean the end of EG. pretty much. We see them crossing the road from the west to get into the strong point, shutting down those blueberries that we see right here. And we see really strong capture progress from Eastern Group right here, right now. Will this match go into overtime? Or will they cap before the match ends? I really can't say yet. I really can't say yet. But 82nd surely must realize to give up on the East. Give up on that position. And just reinforce all the guys that are right here. 82nd managing to contest it. Managing to defend. It's going back to 82nd. With 1 minute left on the clock. Will it not go into overtime? I'm guessing it goes into overtime. But oh my god. Oh no, EG, no. EG has been completely reset. All their OPs are down. All the squad leaders were dead. They're completely reset. They have to come back from the garrisons all the way to the point. I don't think they can make that in 20 seconds. I don't think they can contest it again. And once 82nd completely... If 82nd completely recaptures the point, that will be it for EG. And 82nd will move on to the winners finals. And EG will move towards losers round 4. Sorry, losers round 5. No, wait. Losers round 4. And we see 82nd win. What an astonishing match. Got really excited there at the end. Excellent match. Excellent plays by both 82nd, EG. I'm gonna be honest, it was a way better match to watch than match 2. This was an amazing match. If someone asked me, what is 18v18 about? I point to this match. It was excellent. Beautiful match. Beautiful match. We saw great plays from 82nd. We saw great plays from Eastern Group. We saw capture progress. We saw overtime. We saw people being reset. People rushing back into the point. It was fantastic. Amazing game right here. And that does conclude this best of 3 game, where 82nd has won 2 rounds, losing the first one, but winning the second and third match, securing their slot in the winners final. A really, really strong performance by 82nd. And also a really freaking strong performance by Eastern Group. A really strong performance. A really new team to the format with a couple of guys who have experience. Making their way up in the semifinals. Beating the 2021 world champions, I believe. 82nd in round 1. But 82nd came in clutch in match 2, match 3. They found their footing. They found their rhythm. They found what they needed to find, and won match 1, match 2 and 3, and secured their slot in the winners final. We will see Eastern Group again in the losers round 4, where they fight off either Legion X or Paradox. 82nd, we will see them again January 28th in a winners final against either DC, the Cheesy Boys, or VLK, Valkyria. These 3 matches have been excellent, amazing, great to watch. Just a great series to debut my casting and streaming on. It was fantastic. Let's see if I can manage to get let's see if I can manage to get statistics for match 1 and 2. Or match 3, preferably. Okay, let's take a deep dive. Let's quickly look at stats. For match 3, they aren't available yet, unfortunately. But. The statistics for match 1 and 2 are complete now. Let's take a quick look. Let me scoot over. There it is. Quickly scoot over. Alright. Match 1, which EG won, Eastern Group 1. The top 10 killers: Oni, Die for Metal, Denodius, and the Sad Demon, forming the top 3 right there. Top deaths, followed by 82nd. Poor guy, death streak of 11. Regular multiplayer game for some. And let's take a quick look. Quick look at game 2, match 2. We see a lot of more 82nd in the top 10. A lot more 82nd. And let me quickly check if match 3 is ready yet. No stats for match 3. Unfortunately. But what a great game, everyone. What a great freaking game. I've been streaming for 2.5 hours. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining me in my debut to streaming 18v18 content. And I hope to see you in the next one. I've been Frogers. This has been Eastern Group and 82nd, playing in the 18v18 Winter Invitational. Thank you all for watching. And I'll see you somewhere else. Or here again. I don't know. I'll see you.